Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar, the Digital Nervous System Testbed, a comprehensive demonstration of the findings. I would like to once again thank all of our speakers today, in particular Tom de Block, our keynote, which will be here today. Without further ado, I will kick off this event, introducing Tom. So Tom started his career at Panasonic, performing software testing, having ever since gathered in-depth multi-sector insights during QA consultancy positions in IT quality and governance departments. From banking over medical and public services up to, I hope I pronounce it correctly, session Homeland Security. So Tom pioneered the AIoTI high-level architecture for IoT-enabled data markets, a blueprint for sustainable data sharing in a federated data space. His publications are used in multi-million EU-funded smart energy mobility and agriculture programs. It chairs industrial task force and promotes public foundations. He operates in a nonprofit under the Alliance for IoT and Edge Computing Innovation, AIoTI, as vice chair of the steering board and task force leader of both IG Testbeds and European WEB3 Accelerator. So I believe Tom will be a great person to let us all understand a bit better what testbeds are. So Tom, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Well, it's a mouthful introduction. So yeah, I did quite some testing in the last 20 years, actually, as a software consultant. As you mentioned, even like very, very big, large-scale European systems like Schengen, Homeland Security. At the other side, I'm at the AOTI. We are in the Web3 context, where it's more like innovation and solution architecture. But actually, what I'm doing now in this Web3 accelerator and with the testbed, so the two, it reflects very well my career path so far, because as a software consultant, I was validating software end to end, from business up to functional, up to technical perspective. So I'm not a software developer, but I'm a software architect. So I'm testing software for the last 20 years. So that's where it comes very well all together in these test beds, and also at the other hand in the Web3 accelerator. Maybe with no further ado, I will start sharing my screen, because I prepared a small introduction, actually a presentation for specific activities on, voila. I went to the end of the presentation, sorry. I will share again, I'm sorry. So yeah, the message I wanted to bring today was actually an introduction to a methodology for footprint calculation on testbeds, which I think should be part of all of your testbeds someday soon, and I will explain you why. So I hope at the end of my presentation you will all jump into this chapter all together with us. So I will share again, I'm sorry. Okay, so as mentioned, I'm currently, and also the link we have with Ubiwhere is under the Alliance for IoT and Edge Computing Innovation. It's a European industry association. Ubiwhere is one of our very active members there, so very grateful for that. We are a non-profit organization created in 2015 around the Internet of Things. So these days, Internet of Things evolved to almost Internet of Everything when we think about data spaces, and when we start to redefine what means a thing. if an algorithm or a data set can also be considered a thing, then suddenly Internet of Things becomes everything, basically the whole digital space. And of course, then edge computing, because that's where Europe tried to be front runner. So that's our scope. And about so what we do, actually, it's many things now about edge computing applications. Compared to other industry associations, I think AUTI is way more towards application, less theoretic. We also have theoretic work, academics, and publication, but especially where the scope of today, the interest group Testbeds, it's very much demonstrating applicability, and I think that's the differentiator with other alliances. AUTI is way shorter towards the application and the use cases in the different industries. I will show more later on. So what I wanted to give today is a bit of a view, an insight, well, a few insights we have. I think all of you are well aware of European context around Green Deal and even global context around climate action. We made quite an important priority of this in the last years. Under our task force, it was at that time it was still called Digital for Climate. Today we renamed it because of its relevance and because of the main subject in this Digital for Climate group is now called ICT for CO2 reduction methodologies. And actually the link with testbeds is actually that the testbeds, which is under another umbrella, are very much the demonstrators of the different methodologies. And that's where I think it's an opportunity for participants here in the webinar, or people that will see us afterwards online, or people engaging with the Ubiwhere program, to actually consider to take these methodologies into the picture, even to go to applicability of these things, because currently it's still very much voluntary. Like there are also like voluntary carbon markets and so on. A lot of problems in these markets, lack of transparency and greenwashing and so on. But Europe will be a forerunner in this taxonomy. It's already currently deployed for companies above a certain turnover. They already have an obligation for non-financial reporting. But it will very soon, and we're talking 2-3 years ahead of us, it will be obliged even for smaller companies. And as digital infrastructure becomes every day still a way bigger part of companies, the footprint of companies becomes more digital. Well, depending on the industries, it goes at a certain speed, but many of them are fully digital. Also with latest crises and so on, there was a big jump towards digital transformation by obligation, actually, because we were all locked in our corners. So online, digital and so on, it grew a lot. Everyone also see the rise of AI. With this, there is a big concern about the footprint of the systems. And that's why it's important to actually demonstrate the energy efficiency of your system. So if it's not already considered, I want to actually strongly suggest to put it on your agenda, and where to start. So that's where I want to bring it today. Is actually the report we published is a second iteration of the report on it's free for download. It's called the IoT and Edge Computing Carbon Footprint Measurement Methodology. It's a big mouthful, but we don't claim to develop standards. We don't, but we maintain landscape publications actually, where we look at other standardization organizations. We kind of put them together, compare them, see where they join, overlap, collaborate. So it's the standard space is a very sometimes complicated and very overloaded space, and there's also like a problematic, like when you have too many standards. Actually, you have no standard anymore because there are just too many standards. But this paper will help you to guide a bit, and also some other publications you will find them for free on for download on aoti.eu. So this one is I think a good starting point to look at applicability of these specific methodologies. I don't know your specific use case, but it's definitely worth it, looking at it. You will find links to other standards and so on, and you're always welcome also to engage. I think the start of engagement is download the free reports and look at it and see what you can take out of it. The way to engage in here in the organization is through the left side here, the horizontal group was the Digital for Climate. Now is where the CO2 reduction methodologies are further developed, or one of the other groups, of course. And then the right side, you see our test beds. And so that's a way to engage. Testbeds, obvious, because you're in this testbed engagement also with Ubiwhere. And then it's a good starting point to look at the CO2 reduction methodologies. At the vertical side, because if some people and some companies will be more industry driven, we also have these different vertical groups where people talk the language of that specific industry. So through the vertical groups, there's also then an engagement with the testbeds to act as demonstrators. So yeah, I think that's where I would like to rest my case. I hope it's not too much to digest. I try to be compact and consider my intro here as an invitation to engage with us through the Ubiwhere call. I think it's I would hope that some of the submissions you receive in Ubiwhere would consider to take an element of carbon reduction methodology implementation, or the measurement, or to collaborate in any way to this European taxonomy, because it's the floor is ours actually to demonstrate, and as I said, testbeds to rule by example. So it's an opportunity for all of us. So I rest my case. I don't know if anyone would raise a question. You can do it, I think, in the chat. Would be happy to answer. Otherwise, I give the floor back to you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Tom, for your introduction and for presenting to all of us the great work you are doing on this topic. I'm sure we will be able to help, or at least work to help on such topic. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. So unfortunately, due to the situation in Belgium and the strike, we will not be able to have Natalie join us for the second presentation. And she and Tom coordinated, and Tom presented a part of what Natalie also wanted to let us know. So we will be moving forward with the program, and we will now have Sandra Barnabé from Ubiwhere, our innovation manager, who will present to us the digital nervous system test beds. So Sandra, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Sandra, you're still muted.
I guess you can now hear me. So as Anna was telling us, I'm going to present the digital nervous system testbed, which is Ubiwhere's testbed. Ubiwhere, just so we can all be on the same page, Ubiwhere presents solutions in more than 60 cities around the world. Ubiwhere developed a concept, city nervous system, which is an organic approach to smart city management that has resulted in many successful projects. Ricardo is going to present this concept a little bit better after me, but so you can understand a little bit, this is a concept that it's a way of seeing the cities. Ubiwhere sees cities as a nervous system with a central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system processes the information while the peripheral nervous system collects data. So with that in mind, we started to think that if we see cities like this, well, maybe we can see all sectors, all industries, just like we see cities. So we developed the concept in the digital nervous system testbed. We apply this concept into our testbed. Our testbed came from the RRP's National Network of Testbeds. It's one of the 30 approved testbeds and is considered to be an innovation campus. In this concept, we aim to provide technological services to Portuguese SMEs and startups. Such services include testing and experimentation within innovative products and services. In physical, it can be in physical or virtual spaces for SMEs and startups. We operate exactly as a nervous system in which the atoms are technological services. So we have these little tech items, if we want to call them this way, tech services that form the basis for testing and experimenting innovative solutions. We have more than 20 services that you can see them in our website, which I'm going to present next. And we are acting in 10 sectors of activities. So we have solutions for different sectors, including smart cities, telecommunications, health, construction, and some more. We also have some testbed notes. So depending on the theme of the service or product that the companies want to develop, we have different nodes. For example, in the industry sector, we have a node in Aveiro, here in Aveiro. We have for robotics, for data, for UI, UX, for mobility, different spaces according to the necessities of the companies. So how does this work for companies? Companies that are interested in submitting or being part of our testbed should go through 4 phases, 4 very easy and simple phases. The first one is submit an application form. This form is available on our website, and it's just about the company telling us their idea. So just presenting the company and what they want to test or develop in our testbed. Then we will evaluate we will do a first evaluation on the application, and then we will schedule a meeting, a one-on-one meeting. After that, we will see if the services that the companies are asking for we can provide the services that the companies are asking for. After that, we will present our decision. We will mail you with our final decision, and if there is a match between the services that we offer and the services that companies are looking for, then you will enter our testbed. So everything that I was talking about, the services, the sectors, and the way to apply the application form, you can find all of this in testbed.ubiwhere.com. So after all this, what's in for you or for the companies that are listening to us today? Why do we think it's our testbed may be a great solution for you? So first of all, we offer validation for innovation. So if you're looking for a place to validate your innovation, the DNS testbed might be the solution. Also, access to edge to cloud services. As I was telling you, my colleague Ricardo is going to present these services in much more depth than I did. But you can now know that you can access edge to cloud services. Also, all this work is done in a collaborative, innovative environment. So you get technical support during all this process, and you can also meet some of our partners. We have been here for a while, so we have some partners that companies might be interested in getting in touch with. Also, all of this makes the product reduces the time to market of the product and also the costs, because we are providing the infrastructure and also our our team, a specialized team. This translates into reducing of your costs. So this is what we have to offer to companies, to SMEs and startups that want to join our testbed. Right now, we have just finished our first wave, and we're, after my presentation, going to present some of our results, some of our pilots. But we are also right now looking for SMEs and startups who can join us for our first and second and third waves. This first wave was what we call a wave 0, was our baseline to experiment this concept. From now on, we'll have the wave 1, 2, and 3, and right now, companies that might be listening to this presentation might just know that we have open calls. We are looking for you, for SMEs and the startups to join us. So right now, if you want to join us, you can do it in our website. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. Also, if you don't have a question for now, you can contact us through our email. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra, for your presentation and for letting everyone know exactly what the DNS testbed, or the digital nervous system testbed, is all about. And I believe that, as Sandra mentioned, we all need to understand a bit better where this came from. And for that, we will have Ricardo Vitorino, Head of Technical Communication here at Ubiwhere, who will be presenting the journey from the concept to the creation of the digital nervous system. So Ricardo, feel free to start whenever you are ready, and let us all understand better what is the digital nervous system.
Thank you, Anna. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching this live or afterwards on demand. As Anna introduced, my name is Ricardo Vitorino. I work at Ubiwhere, and I help the company to innovate and solve urban challenges with smart city solutions. So feel free to connect on LinkedIn and say hi via email. I'm happy to share a bit more of our value proposition for cities and other customers. I joined Ubiwhere back in 2015. Back then, already Ubiwhere was developing solutions for smart cities. We had developed this electrical bike sharing system that was being commercialized all across the world. We had different sensors implemented in these bikes and kiosks to enable to see in real time where the bikes were and to book them and access them through a mobile application. And it was already an innovation at this time, so since 2014. By starting to work with these physical assets that were connecting devices and vehicles in the street level, we then evolved to a portfolio of what we call turnkey Internet of Things solutions. This was part of a CityBrain brand, a smart cities brand of vertical solutions for cities, where we could be able to digitize different domains from mobility to environment, where we could see in almost real time the availability of parking spaces through these electromagnetic sensors. We could understand the filling level of waste containers with ultrasound sensors, and we could understand the weather conditions, air quality measurements or observations, and even noise level observations with different devices implemented in the infrastructure of the city. From here, we were able to develop IoT platforms, data collection mechanisms to get information in real time from these physical places up to the cloud to support decision makers for the different sectors and domains to understand the availability of resources and solve incidents that would occur in this domain. But as we worked more and more with cities, we understood that we could further help them on digitization and improve the quality of life. So instead of just seeing these things as different silos and different individual domains, we could support them on creating this holistic vision of the city and help them get this data into a single place in the cloud and then see it and support their decision making to improve sustainability and the operational efficiency of resources and services. So I remember there was this in 2017. We were thinking on how to make this analogy for cities to understand develop proposition of technology, and we saw that okay, the vision of a city needs to work like our brain does. So we are not from biology, at least not all of them, not all of us, but we did some research and we found that the analogy of the nervous system matched what we were proposing for cities. So we wanted to propose an organic approach to smart city management. And I'm not a biology expert. I watched some documentaries, but that's and Wikipedia articles, but that's most of it. But I can do some fact checking what I'm about to mention. But from what our understanding, the nervous system's main functions are to leverage our senses. So sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste, basically to directly connect them to the nervous system, and because all of these are important. So the main functions of the nervous system are to gather information about the world around us via our sensors. So through the sensory input, we interpret and understand the signals sent from these senses. So the brain understands and makes sense of what it's receiving from the different senses, and can send a response out with this motor output. So when we see the nervous system working, basically we have stimulus that are changes either inside or outside the body that brings a response. So a few examples could be how you squint when you get access to bright light, or how a hot object will cause you to pull back, or even the presence of dust will cause you to sneeze. So all of these are responses of stimulus that happen around our body that the brain reacts and responds with the different senses and nerves. So the main structures of the nervous system are basically the brain and the spinal cord. These are the main control center and the main highway or main cable. So the brain is responsible for all voluntary and conscious activities such as our intelligence, learning, judgment. It controls our balance and coordination. So all of the actions that are happening at the same time. So we are speaking and breathing and understanding what's happening through different senses. The spinal cord, as mentioned, is the main cable. So being able to bundle a lot of neurons to carry these impulse from all parts of the body to the brain, and from the brain back to the body. And then we have the distributed nerves and neurons that carry this information. So the messages that they carry are called actually the impulses and go both ways, right? From brain to the nerves and the other way back. And essentially it can be divided in two main segments. So as Sandra was mentioning, we have the central nervous system composed of the brain and the spinal cord, where the brain coordinates the body activities. It's composed of around 100 billion neurons, and the spinal cord extends the brain activities to the different nerves of the body. And then we have the peripheral nervous system, which connects the body parts to the brain and spinal cord with bundles of nerves throughout the body, spread out all across our body, where we have sensory neurons that are able to receive information and send impulses to the brain and spinal cord. And we have motor neurons, which conduct impulses from the brain back to the muscles and glands throughout our body. So basically, the peripheral nervous system contains all the nerves that are not part of the central nervous system. And by thinking of this and how our body works, we did the analogy with our Smart City initiative. So we developed the central nervous system for cities, where this brain and the spinal cord could collect all the information in a single place and could support analysis and judgment and provide some intelligence for them for better decision making. So cities could see through cloud services the digital twin of what would happen in real time based on different pieces of information from different senses. This information could come from IoT devices, vehicles, existing platforms and databases, geographic information systems, and would support the analysis in real time and correlation of information for both decisions, for better response, but also to evaluate how they are performing. So again, the balance and coordination perspective of the central nervous system, so that they can assess how they are behaving towards sustainability in comparison to their goals, in comparison to the different initiatives that they have in terms of strategy. In order to collect information from all of these pieces of information from these different sources, it needs to be interoperable, meaning that it must understand all of the protocols and sets of information that can come from their sensors and sources. And for that, we rely on best practices based on our participation in initiatives like AIoTI, Fireware, and open source initiatives that we can support to comply with open standards and best practices across Europe and the world, actually. We have a reference architecture that's been considered as well a best practice by the European Commission and by other initiatives that relies on cloud technology to make this information accessible in anywhere, as long as you have internet access. So basically, you don't have to install an application to access the urban platform. You use it through the browser and you access the data and the services through its interfaces, both web and data interfaces. So you can actually get this information back to the different physical infrastructure across the street. So you can have some of this information in physical equipment like kiosks or information panels across, which completes the analogy with the peripheral nervous system. So we can implement sensors at the street level by fulfilling different pieces of equipment and fulfilling different use cases, providing connectivity to this street furniture that's available across the city and solving specific challenges. So we can connect with people, vehicles, devices across the street. Some examples here by showing the sensing of what's happening in terms of mobility, so detecting objects through video streams and analyzing them in small computing units that are embedded in a lamppost, for instance. So the CCTV equipment would be recording a parking area, and you'll be able to understand the number of parking spaces available or number of vehicles present there, and even identify sensitive information like people traits or license plates would be blurred by these edge computing units before being sent to the cloud. The idea is that you can sense and process information in a distributed way using small equipment at a lower cost and in a distributed way, reducing the costs and increasing the efficiency of this sensing and also distribution of content. So in a way, this autonomous shuttle that you're seeing in the rightmost figure was receiving content distributed through the lampposts with its 5G connectivity and 4G connectivity at the street level in Aveiro to be able to get more information that was recognized by the CCTV cameras and the edge computing units there. Besides providing this innovation across cities and infrastructure, it enables new business models because you can then share infrastructure, you can then share equipment with other stakeholders, reducing the costs and sharing this investment with other stakeholders. So to enable new services, new digital opportunities, and new collaboration opportunities amongst different stakeholders. And as we've developed this throughout dozens of years now in our research and development initiatives from idea to product, by talking with different stakeholders and different activities through EU alliances like AIoTI, we saw the opportunities to apply this in different sectors like industry, healthcare, retail, agri-food production, and so on. So our city nervous system actually can be applied to different domains, and the blueprint and reference architecture for both cloud and edge computing can be applied to different domains. So we propose to have the digital nervous system, so we can see a port or an airport as a small municipality. You can see a large industry facility as a digital twin with different people and vehicles moving around and doing their own things on the value chain. And all of this data collection that supports this digitization can be applied with different digital tools from our experience that have been helping us develop products for the smart cities market, but beyond. We, as Tom strongly presented in his keynote, we aim to also support the increase of energy efficiency and reducing the carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emissions of the digitization, so complying with this blueprint that IoTI produced and providing tools that help you assess how your industry and your business is complying with these targets and roadmap is a plus for us. But the main value proposition and the main baseline of this is the innovation with digitization for different use cases, since object detection with computer vision models, forecasting data based on historical time series data collected, visualization in dashboards, maps, different applications for the web and mobile, making data available through open data portals or open APIs, as we do in our solutions, while preserving that the private data is only accessed by authorized users and is not shared without violating or not complying with GDPR and other privacy preserving mechanisms. So again, the main motto is that we are here for the long run. Ubiwhere started this journey in 2007, and we do not intend to stop here. So by leveraging on our experience, you can also boost your business and digitization. And on the next presentation, I'll be able to share some examples of the testbed services. But for now, I want to thank you for your attention. If you have, I don't know if there are questions now, Anna, but if they happen afterwards, feel free to reach us by email or social media. Happy to solve them in the meantime.
Thank you, Ricardo, so much for bringing this context from the beginning and explaining to us exactly how we have evolved from the idea to the CT nervous system and now to the digital nervous system that can act on several sectors. And moving on, actually to, I believe, what most startups and PMEs want to, and SMEs want to learn, please present to us the services that the digital nervous system provides or has available for all of these companies. Thank you.
Very good. So I will not introduce myself again, so I'll go straight to the point. And feel free to know that this is a work in progress being developed by us. So going through different waves, as Sandra presented, we are learning from our experience and collaborating with different SMEs and from our own experience. So all the feedback is valid, and we're happy to welcome you to sit down with us and share your experience as well, so that we can further help. So getting back to the digital nervous system concept, the main mission of it is to transmit signals to every part of the body, right? Remember, so taking decisions based on all the information that's being collected in and around our body. And the central nervous system, cloud services, the peripheral nervous system, edge for IoT sensing, content collection, and distribution as well. The testbed, as Sandra mentioned, enables this analogy as well, providing technological services for the cloud and for the edge to support experimentation of novel solutions and digitalization tools, actually, for SMEs and startups. So bringing those analog processes to the digital world or improving already existing digital processes with more efficient services and novel technology. Our proposition is to have these edge to cloud services. If there is no need for edge, you can only focus on cloud. If you want to have distributed intelligence, you can focus on edge. We are open to support all the scale and different technology readiness level, as Sandra mentioned. So we sit down with the different SMEs, we understand their assessment, their pain points, and we provide the best solutions for their needs, for their pains, so that we can then get a success story and a new product and help you digitize your value chain by reducing costs. So you don't start from zero, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and the time to market is much faster because we are relying on existing services, existing software components, and experimentation facilities to quickly prototype and develop these products. So again, this simplified diagram architecture showcases that we can have edge analysis closer to the source of information, closer to CCTV cameras, devices, infrastructure, vehicles, and even data resources. And we also have then the cloud application where the information is centralized and further processed for decision-making, strategic thinking, and even forecasting capabilities. So, as Sandra introduced, there are more than 20 technological services available. There are different categories that we are mapping them into. You don't need to be an expert on this. We always look for SMEs, not necessarily from the technical sector, but also technological sector, but also from different domains. The idea is that we can experiment, test, build these new scenarios, these new ideas together to quickly identify problems before putting something in production. So before going into the street, before going to the industry plant, we can test things in a small scale and then develop this prototype back to a large-scale product that you can implement in your value chain without compromising your operations. So this is a safe and a scalable approach to do it together. The idea and the three main pillars is that we can bootstrap new technology services. So we can rely on our existing ideas, existing primitives and services to quickly expand and customize it to your particular needs. So your segment, your industry segment, your business pain point can then be evaluated, and we can customize it to your needs, bringing basically reducing the time to the first prototype because we are relying on existing technology. We can spin up demonstration environments with a few clicks, putting something up so you can get access to a dashboard with energy consumption from power meters, or you can see a sample computer vision model running with video feeds and detecting people and cars there. So you can quickly test and experiment our tools before starting to build the prototype to assess how it behaves. But the idea and the main value proposition is to accelerate this new product development. So bringing your product to market in a faster way by leveraging on the two other pillars. So when we have this digitization processes ongoing, you can then even accelerate your development by complying with our best practices and acquiring skilled staff to further develop your solution based on the best practices we provide and the guidelines we deliver through the testbed experimentation process. So when we see the technological services, you see that they are bundled together. So we have different scales. We can have specific test services for integration with an EV charger through the open charging point protocol, specific for getting the availability of an EV charger. We can have this computer vision model based on YOLO to detect people or vehicles in video streams, or even identify personal traits to anonymize. We can have a generic bundle of information for authenticate and authorize people for data access. So we see these technological services with different scales, and we bundle them together like this puzzle figure, because the product will be comprised of different services. And even if you don't necessarily have this background and technological background, we'll help you develop it, building, testing, measuring how it performs, and then scaling the solution as we've done so far from idea to product to support your digitization value chain. So you're invited to bring your ideas to us, sit down, we'll do the assessment together through the standard form that Sandra presented, and we'll be happy to support on this digitization. The idea is to focus on these two analogies of the digital nervous system. So on the one hand, we have the peripheral nervous system supported by edge computing, supporting distributed intelligence, where we can have quicker data and video processing near the source of information, in enhancing the response times of the product. We can support the decision making with immediate analysis and action for time-sensitive applications and industries. So you can easily compare the data that's being measured with specific thresholds or averages to detect outliers and identify potential problems right at the edge. And I'm thinking about energy consumption getting some peaks, or sensors or meters that are getting offline. This could be applied to different industry settings, even for more time-sensitive or less time-sensitive information. But you can have this information right there without relying on someone to manually do it, or pushing all that to the cloud and taking time to process it in a centralized place. This localized data processing also reduces the data transmission risks. So again, when you saw the anonymized blurred video stream from before, this supports that there is more security and compliance to GDPR, limiting the private information that's being transmitted and assessing that it works in a more efficient way, because you don't have to send a lot of information from one place to another. There is a workload manager service to provide scalability and effective management of these increasing volumes of data. So the edge computing paradigm that we have been complying with supports that devices can become idle when there's no data to process or no computing is required, and then waking up or distributing their workload to others when they cannot handle it so much. And this decreases the reliance on central data processing, which then reduces the operational costs. But we also have the brain and the spine cord. So we also still have the central nervous system components based on cloud computing to perform efficient analysis and support decision-making as our brain does. So in this way, we have a centralized data management that, instead of just focusing on that specific phase of your value chain, on the last mile distribution or the first assembly stage, you can then have the whole value chain understood, and you can see the digital twin of what's happening there. You can easily scale the resources up or down based on demand, again here, so you can still scale it automatically according to the domain or to the demand actually, and it actually is fitting your business scale and readiness level. We can reduce the hardware and maintenance costs because you don't need to install a large data warehouse system on your premises. You can rely on existing infrastructure to share resources with other stakeholders and not share your data, but actually share the computing power and energy consumption to reduce your costs. You'll have data security, data redundancy, backup, so that you don't need to be concerned about it. You just be concerned of your own business and value proposition and your value chain, and you don't need to be worried about if something happens to your data, if it becomes lost. Make sure that it's safely stored and can be backed up if a fault happens. This paradigm of cloud computing actually enables collaboration, so you can easily share resources and data on projects, so you can facilitate the access to the data and the services regardless of your location, regardless of your business, and it increases the accessibility on the access to this data and applications through any location. Last but not least, the innovation and agility supports the rapid development and deployment of new applications. So you can bring your idea to develop a product or enhance existing products and processes with new tools and new features based on these paradigms, and we are here to help. Again, I've started the presentation focusing on smart cities, but this can be applied to more than 10 areas, as briefly introduced before. So in smart cities, we can enhance urban management with analytics. Edge computing can provide this immediate data processing for traffic management, for safety assessment, even for environmental observations. So you can have this distributed way. In mobility, it streamlines the transportation systems, complementing the edge computing capabilities for instant decision-making in the transportation network management. Telecommunication is mostly based on cloud and edge nowadays, so the cloud can support these scalable network capabilities. Edge computing boosts the efficiency and reduces the latency, meaning the time that things take to be sent across a channel. Tourism is becoming more and more smart with data-driven insights for travel profiles. Edge computing can help you deliver real-time location-based services across different points of interest or areas according to other contexts and other things happening regarding events or weather constraints. We have blue economy, which can advance the resource management of of elements, we can provide a quick maritime data analysis based on images collected from different sources and also from devices that are measuring different levels. In ICT, and we can basically accelerate innovation and data processing at the source. Healthcare can transform patient care with digital records. Edge computing facilitates the immediate medical data processing. In energy, we want to optimize energy production and distribution, with edge computing offering instant grid data analysis. So distributing this analysis throughout the grid as it is implemented in the real domain. Finally, in industry, we can enhance the automation, the supply chain management, and real-time monitoring of your production. And in construction, we can streamline the project management, complementing edge computing for immediate on-site data analysis, so that you can have the processing power being run at the building facilities and not necessarily somewhere else to further help on your decision. These are some examples of the application areas. All the information is being made available on the website. Again, we invite you to contact us, reach out the form, share your idea with us, and we'll be able to support you on your digitization roadmap. Happy to further answer any questions today or afterwards. Feel free to reach out. Thanks once again for watching.
Thank you, Ricardo, for such a comprehensive presentation regarding the services that the digital nervous system testbed has available. But I think that we need to complement that with some showcasing of what we have already done using some of those services. So I now invite Rita Santiago, our head of R&I and PMO, to please present some of the products that we have already helped some startups and SMEs develop using these services that Ricardo presented. So Rita, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Anna. I will just share my screen. I think you are all seeing it now. So I will provide a short overview of some of the pilots and the pilots that we already had on Wave 0 that Sandra has already presented. It's a simple showcase of some of the most important relevant services that we applied and focus on what Ricardo has already told us. But more or less, let's just start and go straight to the point. With EDM Tech, it's a company that focuses on providing sensors for the parking slots, or even on the sensors that we can find in specifically on the containers that we see on the street. EDM Tech had a problem that they wanted to have control of the sensor that they were placing on the street, specifically how they are identified and how we can have a secure and simplified way to access them with a control system. With this, we applied the service that we call the DNS Testbed Identity and Access Manager, and we developed a product that they have already on the street that can have the link of devices that they have deployed across the cities, and they can have now a way to access and manage all the devices while have a secure way to do so. We started with a TRL of 4 and reached a TRL of 7, and that led us to the capability of having specific service from the testbed applied to a global way of devices, because we are not seeing specific sensors, we are seeing a range of sensors here. After and aligned with this product, we also developed and helped develop a product with EDM Tech that is focused on the parking slots. At the moment, they have sensors that they can deploy on the parking lots, and we can detect if the parking is free or not. But with computer vision, and specifically with the service that we have on the DNS Testbed, we could provide a product that can help us, that can help EDM Tech counting the available parking spaces. With the video that you can see on the screen, we can see that the number of parking lots change, and the algorithm already detects the new car that is being parked on the image. And this leads to the improvement of the solution that EDM Tech has already on the market. And again, we reach a TRL of 7. We didn't reach the maximum TRL of 9 because it's not tested in a specific city. We need the EDM Tech to achieve this TRL should sell it to a specific city, but we have the technology proved, and it can be deployed in any city that wants to buy it. Another thing that we also did was also addressing the parking slots, was counting the number of people in car parks. Why? Because when we are using computer vision for this type of solutions of scenarios, we can have the capability also of detecting possible problems. And if we are considering a city that goes through a new way of mobility where we have self-driving cars, another thing that we can detect, or at least share research on, can be how the people are addressing this, and how is the interaction between people and cars. And the algorithm that we developed and help EDM Tech specifically address this problem was detecting the number of persons in a parking lot, considering how the interaction between people and cars can be identified. This specific algorithm detects and counts the number of people that are identified on the park, and we are specifically addressing an object and a person, not using and not counting the number of cars or the number of parking lots. That's a new approach for a computer vision algorithm, where we are specifically addressing a person and not a car or another object. I will just move the video a little bit so you can see the detection. And with this, we can not only have an overview of the context awareness of the people and in their interaction with cars, but also trying to reach a new way to detect other things, not only persons, but specific objects in the street, and provide as much as possible knowledge to the municipalities. Again, we reach a TRL of 7, and that's the 3 pilots that we had with EDM Tech. Another thing that we provided, and addressing the electrical vehicles with smart lampposts, we reach and we created a pilot that is focused on the management platform, where we can have a mobile application, where we can see all the historic of charging that we have with our vehicles. What is the percentage of charging? Which are my cars? Where did I charge my car? And a lot of information that we can have with this. This reach a higher TRL. We reach the TRL of 8 because it's something that is already deployed in the city. It was already tested in the city of Aveiro. So it's something that is already ready to market, and was done by using the service of IoT platform, a platform that can combine a lot of services and a lot of sensors that we can deploy across the city. Another thing that is totally related with the previous pilot is the OCPP integration. We cannot have a charging platform without having the OCPP integration. This is the service that can be used and must be used to remotely monitoring the lamppost, and we can have the connection and the message between the exchange of message between the lamppost and the cars. And it's a service that is ready to be used in the DNS testbed, and it was applied specifically on this pilot to create a management platform for smart lamppost. And focusing on another sector that is really different from the previous ones that I mentioned. Zenith Wings is a company that is focused on Industry 4.0 or agriculture. And the problem that they had was they didn't have the capabilities of real-time monitoring. So how they could provide monitoring of the overall industry. Specifically here, we were trying to identify humidity and temperature of the overall scenario. and they reach us to create a monitoring platform that we could have historic about this type of sensors. We could have real-time information, and we developed the Zenith monitor. That is, this it can be seen here with this platform that you are seeing, and it provides indicators and metrics just such as how it can be impact a lot of the vegetables, the plants, and specifically we were targeting the agriculture sector, but this leads to the capability to monitoring a lot of sensors, a lot of other metrics that are relevant in this sector. And we reach a TRL of 7. Now it's a matter to sell it specific to agriculture, and then we have reached the maximum TRL. And also with Zenith Wings, we developed a data visualization platform. It's not the same as the previous one. Here we have not only the metrics, but we can also have some thresholds, some monitoring specific addressing the alarmistic part of the metrics. So based on historic, what happened, what was the maximum, what is expected to have, what happened that it was not expected to happen. And then we can provide not only the data visualization, but also starting to have some data analytics that evolves and creates more knowledge and creates more value to the end user. And this was another product that we developed during this Wave 0. And we could have this platform that was based on the service that we have at DNS. It is a data visualization platform. Once again, we reached a TRL of 7. Now it is the go-to-market part, and then the product can reach the maximum TRL of 9. And finally, specifically addressing a different sector, but based with the same service that I presented on the first one, we deployed the same service to the entity and access manager, service to the DGUS company. DGUS is a company that places monitors on the city to see the number of see the information about buses, about the public transportation that we can have on the streets. But once again, they didn't have a way to access them remotely. They didn't have a way to provide security and have a service that could manage all the devices and all the monitors with a secure way. They reach us with this problem. We provided again the same service, but applied specifically to this context. So we provided a solution, a service that can manage all the monitors that they have on the street, and they can now access them with a secure way and have all them in the platform that they can manage all of this. Again, we reach a TRL of 7, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for having me here. And any questions, please just let me know.
Thank you, Rita, for explaining to us what already has been done with some of the companies that reached out to us. I will ask Jorge to complement with some other products that were already developed. So Jorge, if you can please now go ahead and present those that were developed by your team. So Jorge is an embedded systems engineer here at Ubiwhere. The floor is yours, Jorge.
I'm just sharing the screen. Give me a moment. I'm an embedded systems engineer at Ubiwhere, which is a fancy name for Code Monkey, low-level code monkey. The products I'm going to present now are mostly based on platforms and APIs, so they are not as interesting as seeing a car parking or people getting detected on parking lots. But let's just go on ahead. So DGUS had this problem where they had so many of the devices and sensors, and they needed to they wanted to know if there was a way to standardize, because these sensors and devices were talking all different languages, and they asked themselves if it was possible to have a standard way to access them and read the data. And that's exactly what DG Connect is trying to solve here. So it provides a standard way for DigiOS to access their sensor data or their device data, because yeah, obviously it's a big necessity. It's very hard to just keep a track of all the different protocols and things you need to connect to each device. Obviously, now that we have access to the data, it would be pertinent to have a way to actually check on this data and monitor all these different sensors and things. And that's where we get the logging or the tracking platform. So Unilogging is a platform that can collect this data and show these metrics in a, let's say, user-friendly way, and can help to debug all these different sensor or IoT deployments. Unical had this problem where they had so many applications and services, actually software-based this time, and they were searching for a way to make this software easier to deploy and maintain. And so there is this UniOps platform, which is it uses an infrastructure as code paradigm to make so you can actually describe what the deployment will be in code, in text, and it will be deployed the same way every time you need. And you also have a platform where you can check on these deployments, see what's failing, check the logs, just overall a great user experience. Zenith Connect, it's similar to the previously presented DigiConnect, but this time more focused on agriculture or viniculture sensors, such as soil moisture sensors, temperature, humidity, all the things. I think Rita also talked a bit about this before, so you're already familiar with this. But yeah, it's the same. We standardize the way that the sensors contact us, and we can fetch the data easily, so that it makes life for the people who are going to consume the data a lot easier. And we also have Zenitops, which is similar to Unihops, because the problems were similar. And obviously, this time for Zenith Wings, they also had the applications that they had to deploy, and they had to keep up the infrastructure. And so they have this platform. And I think these are all. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, if you have any questions, show them at Ubiwhere.
Thank you so much, George, for your presentation and for complementing what the products that Rita already had presented. I believe these two last presentations were a great way to complement the first ones, where we started by understanding a bit about the work that is being done in testbeds all over Europe. And then we moved along to understanding a bit exactly what Ubiwhere is doing with the digital nervous system testbed, moving forward to understanding the concept, how it was created, how we started from the CT nervous system to the digital nervous system and out to this testbed, and then trying to comprehend all of the services or some of the services that we already have available within this testbed and that already have been deployed here in these products that Rita and George presented. So to finalize this webinar, I would like to once again thank all of our speakers, in particularly, obviously, Tom, for taking the time from his busy schedule to come to today's webinar, but obviously also to all of my colleagues at Ubiwhere that are not only here today at the event, but also working in all of these products and all of the solutions.
I'm actually,
so-
if I can say, thank you for the
Yes.
organization, Anna. And I'm actually, by listening to the different presentations and the different, well, elaborations and all that, I literally was thinking to submit some stuff with some of the companies I'm involved with, or some startups I did, or I'm mentoring them, and I would definitely lead them to you. I think we already spoke about Fire Guardians. It's one of the winners of our hackathon. They will already engage with Ubiwhere. They're very
I
relevant.
think, yes, with Ricardo, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Ricardo already. So I will just also continue to promote it because it's very good. And I would also like to invite everyone to our next hackathon. We have two actually coming, a technical and a non-technical. So yeah, we'll get to it. But thank you and congratulations with the event. It's great content, and congratulations with the platform also. We're looking forward to engage further then. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I would like to invite all of you that are watching live or that will watch afterwards to contact us, reach out to us. If you are a startup or an SME with an idea and need technical help or expertise, reach out to us, go to our website, fill out our forms, and we will get back to you. So that's my last appeal. Thank you, everyone. And we hope to see you in our next webinar. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.